Hello everybody, it's Friday the 9th, 3:15 in the afternoon. This is my review for Black Fields. So I've had to write it all down, so I'll just be reading it out. So yeah. So Black Fields is a fantasy horror short film written and directed by Mr. H Reviews, and it's been produced by his production company called Production H Films. The film has been a long anticipated debut of Mr. H Reviews, ever since its conception to its proposal and subsequent crowdfunding via his YouTube channel Mr. H Reviews. Made on a budget of roughly 35 to £40,000, it undoubtedly shows, but as a concept worth investing in, it was and is well worth it. Through the sweeping aerial shots, the eerie score, and marvelous use of prosthetics and practical effects, every penny is squeezed to get the most out of it in regards to making a high quality debut short film. The film starts the film starts off with a group of protagonists wandering through the black fields, only to be picked off one by one by an unknowing but menacing foe. Baldir, the leader of the group, Bjorn and his battle hammer Fredar, bow and Arik, the latter of which is killed almost immediately from the get-go, with only a flood of blood to commemorate his presence. The remaining trio have speaking lines discussing the potential of killing the supernatural enemy to no avail. The acting does have its strong and weak points, with Bjorn being the strongest and Baldir being the weakest, which is only due to weak line delivery. At a runtime of approximately 14 minutes, an original concept that is filled with potential unfortunately suffers from two factors: funding and experience, mainly finance. As someone who has followed Mr. H reviews from the middle of 2017 and then evolving into a full blown simp around 2018, I happily donated to this original film, and rightfully so, as mainstream studios, films, and culture is overtly saturated with politics and gender identity, crushing and castrating the very definition of creativity. And it is ever more imperative to fund, and promote independent filmmakers such as Mr. H Reviews. Speaking from a personal perspective, I have been supporting Mr. H through various means, following him on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, using the super chat function on YouTube during his live streams, which happens every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time (GMT), and being a member on YouTube, as well as a Patreon subscriber. It's important to talk about the super chat function on YouTube. As someone who regularly uses it, it's disappointing to know that approx 30% is taken from each super chat, whether it be £2, £5, £10, or £20, which is quite substantial when looking at it from the perspective of microtransactions. I have been looking into alternatives to this, as being a content producer and independent filmmaker, this is his livelihood and main source of income. The same concept applies to personal trainers, which is why they charge quite high prices. It is their primary source of income. That being said, I will be looking forward to supporting Mr. H Reviews in his future endeavours, and hopefully discuss with him the alternative of method of funding, which is a lump sum rather than small donations. Ideally, when I get a full time job, as I am a student at the minute, I would be more than happy to put aside 500, 1,000, 5,000, 20,000 in regards to funding future film projects. No, I'm saying that because I've talked about like super chats, but super chats is just a bit it's just a bit disappointing really. So I'd rather just um like I just said, I'd rather just give you like a lump sum or give you like a gift or a present or something like that, or try and fund the channel in another way, by like you put on something about graphics card, so like I don't mind funding for a graphics card like directly. Yeah, carrying on. To Mr. H himself, it's too easy to get trapped in the immediate setting, and looking at things from a mathematical perspective. You got to make the numbers bigger and bigger. More experience, more film projects, more collaboration, and less self doubt. What stands out for me overall is the creature itself. I have to say this because when I watch a film in cinema, I come back home and then Google everything I can about that film, especially creature features which captivate me. And this is no exception, as I would be enthusiastically Googling everything I can about the creature in this film. Um, I guess there's a few creature features that I want to point out as well. There's The Descent, there's The Monster, I think it's a 2016 film. The Jeepers Creatures is a creature film, creature feature. What are the creature features? Are there? Underwater is a creature feature as well. Um, I like the creature in this film actually because there's similarities to actually, yeah. There's a anthology film called VHS, and in VHS there's a segment where a group of people go into the forest, but they're taken out, they're killed by this some sort of entity, which is like in the film it's like a glitch. So this entity in the film is represented like a digital glitch, but it's like a unstoppable killer as well. So I couldn't help but draw some parallels to the creature in this film and the creature, the entity in the anthology series from VHS. I just wanted to highlight some strengths and weaknesses of the film as well, regarding the debut short. The strengths are it's an original creature concept. The lore of the characters being an amalgamation of Vikings, Nordic mythology, Japanese and samurai culture elements. I think there was some sort of Japanese samurai sort of elements in there. The location and setting of the film, the New Forest, England, UK. Practical effects, makeup, and costume designs, they're spot on. They're excellent. The use of a drone for aerial shots. The aerial shots are quite magnificent. The only letdown with the aerial shots is just the exposure. It's either the exposure or like in the editing, the color grading afterwards. The fact that the film was shot under difficult global circumstances. Yeah, so the people that don't know about, I guess I could be wrong about this, but I actually volunteered as like a runner for this film. And I was told that this film is going to be filmed using guerrilla tactics. So it's like some sort of like undercover like mission you have to go into like a New Forest and film the film and then like get out. So that's like for those of you who are watching this, Mr. H's SAS rumored SAS training confirmed really. And then the score itself as well. Wait, there's something else. Yes, there's a few other things. Okay, returning to forget that. The score for the film has been described as a character in and of itself, and I want to draw a comparison to another score for the game. Draw a comparison to another score for the game Alien Shooter. I think I can play this. So let's see if I can play this because I think you'd find this quite interesting. Because let me see. I think this will get like copyright flagged or something by YouTube. Oh, fuck YouTube. Oh well, not that, but that's just an advert. Adverts. Let's see. So that's the. I don't know if you can hear that, but That's the main menu theme for a game called Alien Shooter. So right, I'm gonna stop there because I'm gonna link this into the video anyway. The other thing that I wanted to point out is Mr. H has an incredibly healthy community, with many being creatives themselves. I can only imagine him being inundated with emails from actors, scriptwriters, artists, and so on, eager to work with him. This, I sincerely hope, he would capitalize on, as a community has grown substantially and, unlike other channels, empowers one another. So there's dedicated followers to Mr. H. Like, even though Mr. H has 270,000 subscribers, like it's plain to see that he's not getting that many views, and there's genuinely a tight knit group, a tight dedicated follower base, and we've sort of, after watching Mr. H himself, we've sort of created like our own little channels ourselves, and we sort of collaborate with one another. Well, not collaborate, we sort of empower and encourage one another, which is something that that sort of thanks to Mr. H himself, really. Coming back to the strengths and weaknesses, is some of the line delivery isn't that great. Like Baldi's lines, his delivery wasn't that great. It just didn't seem emotive enough, or the way he's done it. Certain shots, some of the shots are too dark, and I don't know what's happening in there. What's happening? It's just like a blank screen. It's almost like a cutaway. Certain framing and editing. So when when the creature is shown, it's just too. It's just um it's just too abrupt. It's not. It's not. You can only do so much in 14 minutes anyway. But yeah. Certain framing and editing. Yeah. Color grading during some of the daytime shots. Yes. Yeah, because you can clearly see that it's middle of the day, of bright sunlight, and this was during summer last year as well, I think. And you can't. I guess it's something to do with like the exposure on the camera, or it's like you're trying to put like a UV filter on or something like that. But you can tell that it's like as if the camera's wearing sunglasses, and you can tell that it's still bright. It's still unbelievably bright outside, but you can tell it doesn't really work for me. But those are like weaknesses that can be improved on anyway. And to conclude, it's a solid attempt at a short film. I will be happy to fund future projects and continue making films, and take every opportunity to cultivate experience so you can revisit this concept in the future. That's what I want to highlight. It's a, as a I funded like I think I was one of the first people to like make a donation or something like that. But throughout last year, throughout the donation period, I listened to people saying that no, he's a scammer, he's a fraud, he's just taking your money, he's gonna piss off and taking money with him. But I sort of stuck to my guns because I've been following Mr. H for a long time now, and I'm glad I'm still glad I do follow him as well. Um, So there's two reasons, I guess a few reasons really. One is that he's actually delivered. He's delivered, and he's made a serious effort into delivering, not a shitty product. He actually cares about the work he does, which is something that which is you're not gonna find. I guess if you watch his reviews on like Batwoman or CW channels, but Superman and Lewis is supposed to be good. So I haven't watched it, but yeah. So this is someone that actually cares about the stuff that he produces. So it's the reason why I will be funding future projects. And like I said, that once I get a full-time job, I'd be very happily, I'd set aside like a grand, 2 grand. I'd very happily set aside a couple of grand for you and just say, look, you're making a new film. Like, I'd very happily, here you go. I've saved some money for you there. And I'd rather do that than do the super chat thing, because that way I know that. God damn it. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I very happily, because that way I know, like, if I give, like, I've totaled up like how much altogether, how much I've given in terms of super chats, and it's like 600 quid, 600 700 quid over like 3 months, and like 30% off 600 700 quid, it's like 200 quid. It's like, that's insane. And like so I'd rather just like, even though he's getting that money, but it's not, he's not seeing it in a lump sum, and a lump sum is what makes a difference. There's also a reason why I was like asking about a graphics card as well, so like I can, yeah. It was supposed to be a review of Mr. H's Blackfields, but it's sort of turned into a bit of a ramble as well. But yeah, there was a few things that I wanted to talk about like that, but I would rather have done during the member call-ins, but I don't think that's going to happen this week, and I'd rather just get this off my chest anyway. So yeah, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Support Mr. H and other independent film producers and other independent artists, really, because everyone's sort of like anything worthwhile. People are turning to crowdfunding, because studio based, like like large studio, I guess like Disney and Marvel and all of them, like, it's just about gender identity and gender politics and all of that bollocks, and it's just, you've just completely destroyed an entire industry in that sense. That's the reason why I guess Keanu Reeves crowdfunded his own comic book series or something like that as well. So yeah, independent filmmakers, artists and all that, you need to fund them. Thank you.